Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's vlog is a special one. Last Saturday, my sister and her family came over for lunch, and after lunch, we had plans to go out for a little evening trip. So I thought, why not make the lunch little extra special? And since I was already cooking, I decided to record the recipes as well. So today's vlog is going to be a mix of cooking, family time, and a little travel. And make sure you stay till the end because I'll be sharing the full laser show from Adiyogi, which was absolutely beautiful. So let's get started. Since I was planning to make Indo-Chinese, I knew the most time consuming part would be chopping all the veggies. So I started early in the morning. I chopped lots of beans, carrots, capsicums, onions, spring onions, peeled lots of garlic, and also soaked some frozen green peas and sweet corn in warm water. Honestly, if you finish all the prep work first, the actual cooking becomes so much easier and less time consuming. I also wanted to make a dessert, so I decided to prepare rice kheer. In a pressure cooker, I heated a tablespoon of ghee and added a spoon of sugar to it to caramelize. This is a small trick that gives the kheer a really beautiful color. Once the sugar is caramelized, I added about a quarter cup of soaked small basmati rice, one bay leaf, and a pinch of salt and water. Water about 5 times the quantity of the rice. Then I pressure cooked it for around 6 to 7 whistles. While that was cooking, I also kept milk to boil for the kheer. I had already cooked plain rice for fried rice and spread it on a plate to cool completely. Usually leftover rice from the previous day works the best for fried rice, but because we planned it a little late in the previous night, so I cooked fresh rice in the morning instead. The rice for the kheer was perfectly cooked by now. I mashed it slightly with a spoon and added it to the boiling milk. Now this just needs some patience. Let it cook slowly on the lowest flame until it becomes nice and creamy. After cooking this for some time, I added sugar, which is about 4 to 5 tablespoons, while it was still boiling. And later I added about 2 to 3 tablespoons of condensed milk to make it even richer, but that is almost at the end of the cooking. While the kheer was slowly cooking, I started preparing for chili paneer. In a bowl, I added crushed ginger, garlic, soy sauce, ketchup, some salt and black pepper powder, mixed everything together and added paneer cubes and coated them well. Finally, I added a little corn flour. Some people actually deep fry the paneer after coating it again with the corn flour, but I prefer roasting it instead because it's lighter, healthier, and honestly tastes just as good. Now let's make the fried rice. Into the hot oil goes crushed ginger and garlic, then some spring onions. Next, all the chopped vegetables along with the corn and green peas. One thing I love about making fried rice at home is that you can add as many vegetables as you want, and it becomes much healthier than the restaurant style fried rice where you literally need to search for the veggies. Everything goes on high flame with a little salt. Then the black pepper, soy sauce, and finally the cooled rice. Mix everything gently and finish it off with lots of fresh spring onion and coriander. Simple, colorful, and so delicious. Let's check on the kheer now. It has become nice and creamy. Added some condensed milk and let it cook for a few more minutes. And at last, added cardamom powder and some chopped dry nuts and raisins. Although I completely forgot to record that part. But trust me, the kheer turned out so good. Next, I wanted to make something for the kids because both my son and my niece absolutely love noodles. So I made it as a surprise for them. I made butter garlic noodles, for which I boiled noodles in salted water with a little bit of oil for around 7 minutes and drained them. In another pan, I added a little oil, plenty of butter, and lots of crushed garlic. The aroma at this point is just amazing. Then added julienne carrots, capsicums. Your cabbage also goes really well in this recipe, but I didn't have any at that day. After roasting the vegetables, I added soy sauce and then the noodles. No extra sauces, no ketchup, just butter, garlic, little bit of soy sauce, and finish it with spring onions and freshly crushed black pepper. Simple recipes are sometimes the best. The last dish for today's lunch is chili paneer. First, I roasted onion and capsicum cubes on high flame for about a minute and kept it aside. Then added the marinated paneer and roasted that as well. Now for the sauce, goes in a little bit of oil, garlic and spring onions. Then some ketchup, soy sauce, salt and black pepper. Cook the sauce for about a minute so that the soy sauce is nicely cooked. Then add a cornflour slurry and let it cook until the sauce becomes glossy. Finally, add the roasted paneer and vegetables back into the sauce and mix everything together. And of course, lots of fresh spring onions on top. When you are making Indo-Chinese, there is really nothing called too many spring onions. So you can add as much as you can. So lunch was finally ready. We all sat together, had lunch, chatted for hours, and had such a lovely time. And because everyone was busy talking and laughing, I completely forgot to take serving sorts for the kheer and the noodles. I guess that is what happens when you are genuinely enjoying the family time. After lunch, we started our drive towards Adiyogi. It's roughly about 1 to 1.5 hours from where we stay in Bangalore. Once we crossed the city traffic and got onto the highway, the drive became really beautiful. The weather was pleasant, there was so much greenery around, and it was just one of those relaxing drives where you don't even realize how quickly time passes. Sometimes the journey itself becomes the part of the experience. Adiyogi is located at the Isha Foundation on the outskirts of Bangalore. Highlights here is the magnificent 112-foot Adiyogi statue dedicated to Lord Shiva as the first yogi. The entire place has such a peaceful and calming atmosphere. The surroundings are beautifully maintained. There is plenty of open space, and everywhere you look, there is greenery or mountains or hills. Parking is quite spacious, although weekends can get pretty crowded. We reached while it was still daylight, so we spent about an hour walking around, taking photos, and simply enjoying the peaceful surroundings before sunset. And then came the most exciting part of the evening, the laser show. As soon as it got dark, the entire statue came alive with lights, music, and projections. The storytelling, the visuals, and the music together create such an incredible experience. The show lasts around 15 to 20 minutes, and honestly, it was the highlight of our visit. I'll be playing the full laser show, not full actually, but most part of this laser show right after this. So do stay till the end of this video.
Over 15,000 years ago, a being appeared in the upper regions of Himalayas. No one knew who he was, where he came from. The origins of this spectacular being were unknown. Then his ecstasy allowed some movement to dance wildly. When intensity peaked, he became utterly still. People saw that he was experiencing dimensions that no one had ever melting away. Only 7 seekers remain as they could not. And damage. In this magnificent state of yoga, many mysteries, the created and the uncreated, cascaded upon. This spectacular being is not of the past, but the future of humanity. To know humanity from hallucinations of ups and downs to nameless ecstasy. And you decide, just think of me, which draw them into intoxicating raptures. With the sacred science of yoga in all its forms, the human habitations across the planet, which turn into crucibles of civilization. It was a vision of the very core of the cosmos, in all its profundity and magnificence, a vision of the unfathomable mysteries of the universe, and Devi Parvati forever at rest. Man is human.
Once the show ended, almost everyone started leaving at the same time. The crowd was huge, and we knew we would probably be stuck in traffic if we left immediately. So instead, we decided to have dinner there itself. There are quite a few food stalls around the venue. We kept it simple with some South Indian food, some idli, dosa, and few other snacks. By the time we finished dinner, most of the crowd had already left, so the drive back home was much smoother. It turned out to be the perfect ending to a really wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed spending the day with us. If you liked today's vlog, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you have not already. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you in the next one.